Hey guys, this is a trial run video. It's a hand history review I've done with a complete stranger to me, and I think we covered a lot of really interesting topics from a seemingly innocuous hand, and this is just to illustrate exactly how much depth you can go into someone's thought process and how much you can analyze just from a little snippet of the way that they play poker. This is an entirely different way of reviewing hand histories, and I want to hear what you guys think. If there are things that you think I could add, things that you think I could change, please let me know. I really appreciate feedback. If there are any other video types that you could think of that you'd want uploading, please let me know. I can't promise I'll do it. I've got a kind of plan of how I want to progress and help people learn poker, and I want to layer it up and not just jump in the deep end straight away. But if there is anything apart from the quality of the video, like I'm getting a team of editors, and so that this really is just like the first trial run, and don't worry, it will be a lot better quality after we get people that actually know what they're doing. So I hope you guys enjoy. I hope you guys learn a lot, and peace out. So recording. Okay, hey Marius. So I am just about to start a series. For anyone that doesn't know, I'm not sure how many videos of this I'm going to do. We'll see how much people like it, where I'm going to take a complete stranger, or at least a relative stranger, and analyze one hand and see how much I can gather about the way that they play and the way that they think about poker, and illustrate the amount that one can learn from just going over one hand. So before I do that, I'm going to need like just like a 30-second intro about where you are in your poker career right now.
Punting stacks and 10-0. I'd say.
Okay, yeah. Cool. How long have you been playing poker?
3 years. 3 years.
Cool. And you're also studying on the side?
Yeah. I recently bought Raise Your Edge masterclass, and yeah, was just studying. Awesome.
But you're also studying like school stuff at the side?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, cool. So kind of like part-time, I imagine. So we 2.5x, King 5 suited, blind versus blind. For anyone that doesn't know, this is extremely standard. We are playing against an unknown, I assume?
Yeah, I had like 150 hands of him, and he had like 8% 3-bet or something.
All right, so 8% 3-bet. The first thing, if you're using a heads-up display, that I would suggest, instead of looking at his overall 3-bet percentage, you can get stats that say specifically 3-bets big blind versus small blind, and that's going to be a lot more helpful. Although over 150 hands, it's not going to be the best. First thing here, this is a fold. Super okay that you didn't, but this is definitely an indicator to me that you haven't kind of tightened up on your pre-flop ranges yet.
Yeah.
So the hands that you can call a 3-bet here to a 3x, I'm gonna say at these stakes you can just about get away with King 9 suited, but King 5 suited is definitely a bit too loose. I would also say that people, as an overall generalization of the player pool, when people are bluffing loads blind versus blind, they tend not to just go 3x, like, because then some people just go absolutely bananas, and then some people only ever have value hands, and I'd say the majority of people only have value hands. So we're going to assume that he's the majority of people because we like to generalize before we have more information about the specific player. So we're going to assume that most of the time he's only going to have value hands, which is a definite reason to fold. You're not going to realize enough equity with your King 5 suited against just like Ace King, Ace Queen, Ace Jack, Aces, Kings, Queens, Jacks, 10s. It's just not going to go your way. So we check and he checks back. We're going to be checking all of our hands here, of course. This series is going to be like, I'm going to skip over the absolute basics, and I'm going to assume that the people watching have some knowledge of poker at least. And then I'm probably going to do more videos where I go to the absolute fundamentals and basics. So when he checks back here, what do you assume his range is?
Like mostly ace high, roadways. Maybe like if he's 3-betting like 8s.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I can see that. I would say broadways tend to always c-bet. So the majority of his hands are going to be either something like second pair, like a 7 or pocket 8s, pocket 9s, or loads and loads of ace-high. There's way more combinations of ace-high than there are of other stuff. So there's ace-king, which has 12 combos because we have a king. There's ace-queen that has 16 combos. There's ace-jack that has 16 combos. We can assume that maybe spades would c-bet, so I take away 1, but we're up against ace-high here. Almost, not almost always, I'd say like a good 70% of the time. So we're going to target his range, and I think we do end up betting. What I would tend to do here is I would make a decision. I would say, okay, I either want to bet smaller on the turn to try and get value from ace-high, even though we're behind it. You can kind of value bet knowing that you're going to bluff the river. Or I would try and bet bigger on the turn and not give him a chance to hero call us on the river. You've kind of gone in the middle of that, which is super fine. But what was your reasoning for this size?
I don't know. Like instantly, the moment I did this, I regretted my sizing. I just wanted to I usually just bomb this just because I think that they're gonna fold their ace highs if I bomb it. And instantly, the moment I did it, I was like, fuck, I wanted to make it bigger.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, that's super fine. Bombing it would be fine as well. You're close to the number that ace king and ace queen would fall to, which is good. So there's not too much to say about this. Just the concept to draw away from this for anyone else is that even though we don't have equity, and even though we're going to be massively over bluffing in the GTO sense of describing this, we are just playing our hand against their range, and our hand does not beat any hands in their range, but it can make a lot of their range fold. So it doesn't matter that we don't have a gut shot. It doesn't matter that we might just be drawing to a 5. It's a spot that we know that he has a weak range, and we can exploit that. And he's not going to go and re-exploit us because people at 10 and L, they just don't do that. So the river's a weird one. So tell me your thoughts when you see the river.
Bink.
Okay.
No. Obviously I know that he might have ace king, but I still want to go for value. In case he has 8s, 9s, or I don't know, even maybe he checked back jacks with a spade. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think our hand's good enough to value bet, and I've been watching the past 3 days of your streams, and I was like, okay, let's go for a fucking 9% bet.
Alright, cool. So for me, this would present 2 options, and I would want to weigh them up very quickly in my head, and I don't expect other people to be able to do it that quickly, but it's definitely something that you could take your time and think about. So the 2 options are so you're up against, let's say, ace king, ace queen, ace jack, and then some second pairs. So you could either bet small to try and get value from those hands, or you could check to maybe let ace queen, ace jack bluff, or you could bet really small, maybe 20 cents to induce a bluff from those. So there will be the 3 options that I would try and weigh up in my head very quickly. And I'm not saying this to just push it in other people's faces, being yo, you need to be able to weigh this up straight away. But I like to outline all of the options just so when you do look over this, you can think and think and think and eventually incorporate all 3 of these options into your game in different spots. So the size you went for is 90 cents, and the reason that you would go 90 cents here would be to get value from maybe an ace-high hero call. And here's a concept that you guys are going to need to follow through on. If you want to get called by a weak hand on the micro stakes, bet small. That's a general rule. There are going to be some people that will call an overbet with ace-high. There are going to be some people that will fold to small bets. But as a generic rule, take my word for it. I've done enough coaching recently. If you want to get called by a big hand, bet big. If you want to get called by a small hand, bet small. If you want to fold out a small hand, bet big. It's very spot specific, and do not take this as an overall rule that just works in every single spot. But this is a tendency that you need to be pushing yourself towards. So this size I like. It's definitely, it's going towards the targeting the 7x, the 8s, and maybe the ace highs. We get min raised. So what are your thoughts here?
Like, initial thought was FML, because he has like ace king, and I realized that I'm losing the hand here.
Yep.
But I was just fucking inspired from your videos, and I was like, what if he watches Charlie Carrel, and what if he thinks, oh, I have to min click with ace king so I can get value. So if I min click back, my fault.
Well, I'm glad you've had such inspiration from the Twitch stream. So I don't know how good the microphone is because I haven't set this up properly for your microphone. So just to reiterate what you said, you feel like he has ace king, and you were inspired by my stream, and you wanted to go a bit ham, and you went $3. Okay, I'm gonna rip into you very gently if that's okay.
Yep.
I think this $3 bet, and I'm not saying that this is like a castaway of your whole poker career. I think this shows a misunderstanding of how the players at these player pools think, and this is going to be a concept that we can draw and go a lot deeper in, and in not much time as well, and we can fix a lot of things. This is, again, you probably misunderstanding how the players at 10NL think. I agree this looks like you have ace-king beat, because it looks like he has ace-king, and it looks like, yo, we're still trying to get value from ace-king. You cannot assume that the average player at 10NL can have that knowledge as well. So if you want to try and bluff out ace-king, you need to go, okay, huge, really, really big. But my professional advice would be to try and avoid bluffing out top pair, top kicker in a 3-bet pot against an unknown player at 10NL. People are not playing 10NL to fold top pair, top kicker. It's just one of the brutal truths that I've been learning since playing the micros. I started out trying to run people over, just like bluff in every spot, and they'll just cool me down with anything they got. And especially going $3, it's just giving someone an amazing price. Game Theory Optimal says he's meant to go. What if he's part of Upswing? And you would need to find a very, very specific kind of person that's going to fall to an extra $1.20. I like the thought, and I like that you had the inspiration to do this, and that don't let me cast a negative shadow over this. This is definitely a good sign, because there are a lot of people that would not even think to 3-bet bluff here and turn top pair into a bluff, and I think that's real, real cool. So definitely don't lose this part of your game. That's a very important part of your game. But when it does come to bluffing out, you need to pick a size or a spot that works a lot better than this, because at the moment you're just going to get a crying call from 90-something% of players. He may be bluffing, of course, but it's very, very unlikely. People tend not to just min-raise bluff rivers. So if you're going to bluff, I would say maybe go like $6.70 or something like that, like something real big, and maybe type something in the chat being like, damn, you got ace king, and then go to $6.70. that shit works. In speech play, we trust. So just as the larger concepts that you really should focus on as we go away from this, think about your sizing and think about how other people on 10NL are going to be perceiving that. You can't assume that they're thinking loads of steps ahead. You have to assume that they see small bet, okay, I'm going to call it with my hand. Big bet, I'm less likely to call it. That's situational, that changes depending on the stuff. You can make your bets look bluffy to some people in some situations, and you have to figure out that for yourself, because we don't have infinite time on this video. But in this specific situation, really focus in on what it was, what thought you had to make you go such a small sizing, and try and take that thought away from your game and try and replace it with a thought of more comprehensive. They're not going to be thinking on a higher level. I need to exploit that. But it did work out. We love it. We love the 3-bet bluff. It's real cool. Okay, cool. I think that's enough for one hand. I think we got through quite a lot of stuff. Do you feel like you have a lot to think about now?
Yeah, definitely.
Cool.
Definitely.
So I'm gonna post this on YouTube. I'll probably just pause it now.